Even if you are taking inspired action, you're still in receiving mode and your desire wants to reach you. It just needs to find an easy path to reach you, and that path will be laid out when you have faith in God and the universe to lay down those stepping stones and you enter a flow state and just allow certain blessings to find you. I'm not particularly shy anymore, but I am still definitely more of an introverted type of person than an extroverted type of person. And I'm not really the type of girl to put myself out there. I'm definitely getting better at that, but still currently it's something that I struggle with being confident enough to put myself in situations that require action, require socializing, etc. And it can feel very hard to manifest when you're fearful of taking action, especially if you associate action with masculine energy. A lot of us are very interested in protecting our feminine energy and not sliding into the masculine and becoming assertive or too imposing. But it's important to realize that if you're acting if you're naturally acting as if you already have your desire, you'll find yourself just taking inspired action anyway, here and there, without thinking too much about it, because you're acting as that person. You're acting as if you have that thing already, so you ain't even thinking about whether you're taking inspired action or not. You'll just be doing it naturally. Even if you're pretending to have your desire, you'll still find yourself just more and more naturally taking inspired action where it makes sense. And I think trusting the universe has a lot to do with trusting things to play out organically without too much of your interference in the 3D, by trying to control your surroundings. Sometimes taking inspired action can feel like you're interfering too much with your outer reality, right? Because it's almost like you've got this nagging thought in your head that if you're taking action, that means you're not trusting the universe. It means you're not in a flow state. It means you're forcing things to happen. Because this is something you'll hear quite a lot, that you shouldn't be chasing after your desire. You should be waiting for your desire to come to you. And if you're constantly taking action and trying to force it to happen, then how can you trust the universe to bring your desire to you in an organic way? But there's a difference between taking action organically and then taking action forcefully. And if you're forcing yourself to do something with a specific expectation in mind, that will often lead to disappointment, because it's like you're chasing after this desire, right? And when you're in a state of chasing, your desire will just run, If you're chasing something, there has to be something that's fleeing. That's just a natural law of the universe, right? If you chase something, the other thing will naturally just run away. Your desires will only resist you if you force them into your 3D. But taking action organically involves taking action when it feels right in your spirit, when you don't experience resistance. You decide to try something new on a whim and everything just falls into place. There's no resistance at all, and before you know it, the universe has laid out these invisible stepping stones for your desire to hop across and reach you. And notice I say it like your desire hops across these stepping stones to you, not you hopping across the stepping stones to your desire. Because even if you are taking inspired action, you're still in receiving mode and your desire wants to reach you. It just needs to find an easy path to reach you, and that path will be laid out when you have faith in God and the universe to lay down those stepping stones and you enter a flow state and just allow certain blessings to find you, instead of chasing after specific things with a desperate need to force these things into your life. No matter what belief system you have or method you're using, if you try and force something to happen, it is only going to end up further away from you. And even if it does end up in your life, it will be for an upsettingly short amount of time, because you'll have to keep forcing it to stay, because it's like you don't trust the universe to bring to you what you want, or possibly even better. If you feel like you need to manipulate your reality, that shows you have a lack of faith. And if you have this self-concept that you'll always lose blessings, for example, say you really want to attract more money into your life, but even if you somehow force it to happen, you have this ingrained message in your self-conscious that you'll always lose money, you'll always end up broke again. No matter how much money you have, you'll always end up losing it. It doesn't matter how much money you attract to yourself or how much money you force into your life. It will just disappear anyway because you haven't dealt with those inner thoughts, your inner reality, your inner self-concept. And so much inner healing needs to be done in order for you to end up taking inspired action in alignment with the universe. You're always working in collaboration with the universe. It's never you just forcing things to happen in your reality, you know? And how does this all relate to being shy? Especially when I really wanted to be a spiritual YouTuber and create my dream reality, you know, become financially independent with my dream work, attract my dream friendships and relationships. All of this seemed very daunting to me, because this isn't something I experience so much now, but definitely in the past I found it very hard to, you know, maintain conversations with people. I wouldn't open up about my interests, about the music I liked, the interests I had, I wouldn't like to tell people what my dream career actually is. I rarely told people about my spiritual beliefs. And so it became very difficult to create meaningful relationships. But what I had to realize was that searching for external validation will only ever lead to stress, anxiety, disappointment, because most people don't even like themselves enough to like you in your most authentic energy. No matter how much you try to change your energy to align with other people, you know, you can't trust that they're even going to like you in your fake energy anyway, because so many people are not happy with themselves. And it's so hard to accept someone fully and completely as they are, in their authentic way, when that person doesn't accept themselves. Because everyone you have in your outer reality is a reflection of who you are on the inside. So if you don't accept yourself, you're only going to attract other people who don't accept themselves, right? Everyone is projecting their insecurities onto others and is viewing you through like a very specific lens that you have no control over. You have no control over that person's lens, okay? So how you present yourself to them is the only thing that you have control over. Your own energy is the only thing that you can actually control. How they perceive you is none of your business. If they don't accept you, even if you're presenting yourself authentically and unapologetically, then that is their business. And all you have to do is say, okay, thank you for your time, but I'm not wasting my time on you anymore, and head off and talk to other people instead. When you love yourself unconditionally like this, you're much more likely to attract people and things that match this energy of love, because you won't accept anything less than the standards that you set for yourself. And when you tell the universe what your standards are, when you show the universe what your standards are, by rejecting disrespect and honoring positivity, the universe will see this and send you more things and more people that match your standards. You might occasionally receive people and things that don't meet your standards, and often this is a test from God to make sure that you are still honoring your standards. So in these situations where you're faced with someone who is quite toxic, triggering some previous wounds you had, all you have to do is be calm, realize what's happening without a reaction, carry on being your authentic self, and those things will fall away. And then God will say, okay, I can see that you honor yourself. I can see that you honor your current standards. Here are some gifts. Here are some people who match your standards. Here are some blessings that you can indulge in. Manifestation isn't only about being a hyper extroverted person who's constantly going to social events and talking to people and socializing all the time and always taking action, because I know there's a time and a place for these things. And for introverted people, it can be very draining to think that you have to constantly go out and socialize and go force yourself into social situations just in case you make the right connections or you see a sign from the universe, etc. Just trust that your manifestations will come organically, and inspired action will always feel right in your spirit. It won't feel forced. Sometimes you may have to go out of your comfort zone, which will feel uncomfortable, but I feel like whenever this has happened to me, where I've had to go out of my comfort zone to receive some kind of like manifestation, it's always felt like the right thing to do. Even when I felt uncomfortable, it's always felt cosmic. Like I can see that doing this is going to help me and is going to bring me further and further to my desire, you know? If it feels forced, just take a step back, breathe, assess what you're doing, and ask yourself if you're in a flow state right now or if you're trying to control your 3D. So coming back to being shy, I personally found that, well, the thing is actually, as I've been facing my inner demons and doing the inner work, I've become less and less shy over time. But, you know, obviously there are still times where I don't want to do certain things. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to go out and like go to parties and go to this and that just because I might end up meeting like a dream connection, you know? But sometimes it's okay to force yourself to do things like that if it genuinely feels like it's right. Other times I think you can accept that it's not in alignment with where you are right now, and you have to trust that your manifestation will still come, you know, even if you're not forcing yourself to socialize all the time or forcing yourself to talk to people. So yeah, this video is a bit shorter than usual. I just really wanted to talk a bit about this and talk about inspired action because I feel like there can be confusion about it. But yeah, these are all just my opinions. Obviously, these are things that make sense for me and have worked well for me. Let me know your thoughts below, especially if you disagree.